My wife's white moonlight has returned to the country. He stands before me with an air of arrogance. You are truly pathetic. Your wife doesn't love you at all. For all these years, she has always loved me. I continue flipping through the ledger without the slightest pause. I couldn't even be bothered to spare him a glance. He sends me a picture after picture of him kissing my wife tenderly. Indulgent and self-destructive photos. He urges me to obediently step aside. I smile quietly, collecting irrefutable evidence. To tell them all, love that surpasses the ties of money is always cheap. My wife's white moonlight has returned to the country. The first thing he does is come to my company to find my wife. In front of me, he kisses Shen Yuchu. Like a victorious general returning home, he shouts loudly, "I'm back!" I close the file in my hands. I watch as Chen Zi, with the air of a man claiming his territory, holds Shen Yuchu tightly in his arms. With a blank expression, he says, "Mr. Shen, please continue with your work. I'll report back to you later tonight." After I meet with the client, there's an unexpected guest in the office. Chen Zi, with evident interest, looks me up and down. He says with arrogance, "I know you're in a business marriage. You're truly pathetic. Shen Yuchu doesn't love you at all." I look at him and smile faintly. "Not as much as you do. It's painful seeing the one I love become someone else's husband." Chen Zi pauses. His face fills with rage as he glares at me. "You'll divorce sooner or later." Fuming, he slams the door and storms out. I calmly bring the cup to my lips. As everyone knows, Shen Yuchu and I are in a business marriage. She doesn't love me. I don't mind, because I don't love her either. In fact, I'm almost looking forward to Shen Yuchu and I getting divorced, because our prenuptial agreement states that the party requesting a divorce must leave with nothing. She will leave with nothing. I'll be left with the joint wealth we've built together. The wealth is far more important than beauty. The clock's hands slowly approach 12. Shen Yuchu hasn't returned. I wash up and go to rest. I didn't call her once the whole time. When I wake up, it's already the next day. Shen Yuchu is having breakfast in the restaurant. I quickly freshen up and go to report the unfinished work from yesterday. She looks up at me, her beautiful eyes filled with anger. "Don't you wonder where I went yesterday?" I shake my head. "That's your freedom. What I'm more concerned about is whether we can win this project at next week's bidding. Can we clinch the deal with one swift move?" Shen Yuchu leans back in her chair, confidently crossing her legs. "Don't worry, this project is ours without a doubt." I nod in agreement. I open my phone, ready to browse the financial news. I notice that Chen Zi has added me on WeChat. Once accepted, he immediately sends a photo. It's a picture of him and Shen Yuchu from yesterday, climbing a mountain together. Chen Zi has his arm around Shen Yuchu. The wife, who is usually serious and aloof, is tender and affectionate in his arms. "Did you see? Your wife spent the whole day with me yesterday." I silently saved the photo, then set his messages to do not disturb. Half an hour later, Shen Yuchu and I appear punctually in the company's conference room. At this meeting, there's also an observer, Chen Zi. Facing the department manager's puzzled expression, Shen Yuchu clears her throat, nods signaling the start of the meeting. Shen Yuchu swiftly opens the PowerPoint. She begins to explain to everyone. This bidding requires 200 million. The company has 150 million on hand. The remaining 50 million will be sponsored by Mr. Chen. We show our appreciation with applause. Thunderous applause fills the room. Chen Zi proudly lifts his chin. After the meeting, Chenzi, in front of me, takes Shen Yachu's hand. Shen, sister, I finally returned. My hometown has changed a lot. Take me around. Shen Yachu gives me a look that's hard to interpret. I smile and say, go ahead. Mr. Shen needs to properly accompany our 50 million. Chen Zhao's forehead bulges with veins, but he can't find anything to rebut. He can only deflate and drag Shen Yachu away in front of me. I'm completely indifferent. After finishing my work, I open my phone. Chen Zhao's chat box pops up again. He sent several more photos of him and Shen Yachu shopping and watching movies together. I continue saving them without showing a hint of emotion. If Shen Yachu and I end up in court later, these will be my strong evidence. After working late, I return home. Shen Yachu is unexpectedly at home. After I finish washing up, she comes upstairs. She puts down the book she was holding. Fu Ming, how about we have a child? I stare at her in surprise. What's wrong? Didn't you say you didn't want to have children? Since the moment I got married, I had thought about having a child with Shen Yachu. But Shen Yachu always said she had just inherited the position of CEO of the Shen family company. She had to prioritize her career. At this moment, she rubs her temples. Grandpa is getting old. He wants to hold his grandson soon. I think for a moment. I'll explain it to Grandpa. We'll have children after the stocks are listed abroad. This is the excuse I carefully came up with. But now, I'm not so eager to have children with Shen Yachu anymore. Because this is a business marriage. We don't meddle in each other's lives after marriage. But I know Shen Yachu has no shortage of little puppies around her. There are plenty of young wolves vying for her attention. I also won't be with her for long. Now that Chenzi has returned to the country, he's Shen Yachu's ex-boyfriend from college. They lost contact after Shen Yachu went abroad to further her studies. 2 years later, Chenzi followed Shen Yachu overseas. But unfortunately, just as he stepped onto the campus, Shen Yachu graduated and returned to take over all the matters of the family, and also married me. The bidding meeting was held as scheduled. We faced off against our competitors. We laid down our cards. In the end, we successfully secured the project with 200 million. Just as Shen Yachu had predicted. That night, the company held a party to celebrate the successful bid. Just as they were teasing Shen Yachu and me. Chenzi arrived late, dressed in a tailored gray suit. He immediately grabbed Shen Yachu's hand. Sorry about that. There was some traffic on the way. I'm late. I look at his deliberately applied makeup. I calmly say, no worries, we've just started. The people below are whispering. They're all speculating about the relationship between Chenzi and Shen Yachu. Shen Yachu coughs lightly. Without a word, she withdraws her hand. Her red lips curl upward. Since you're late, why not punish yourself with 3 drinks? No one dared to ruin Shen Yachu's mood. And Chenzi was no exception. Chenzi stares at her, stunned. He looks at Shen Yachu in disbelief. Then, as if out of frustration, he picks up his glass and drinks 3 times in a row. The applause rises and falls around them. At the same time, Shen Yachu quietly places a piece of food on Chen Zhao's plate. He gazes at her with those soft, affectionate eyes. Shen Yachu leans in and whispers something in his ear. His ears turn slightly red under the dim yellow lights. It adds warmth to the moment. I remain calm inside. I raise my glass and take a sip of red wine. A pair of slender, fair hands places a piece of rib on my plate. I turn my head and realize it's the newly appointed sales department manager. At just 26 years old, she's already secured several major projects. She exceeded her sales targets. Lin Chin smiles and says, "Mr. Fu, the ribs here are their signature dish. You should try them." Her smile reveals two charming dimples. "Quite beautiful." I lower my head and take a bite. "Not bad. Thank you, Zilin." "Mr. Fu, we're about the same age. You can just call me by my name." I start chatting with Lin Chin. This newly promoted sales manager has a sharp sense for the market. If she could be my assistant, my work efficiency would definitely increase. During a break, I glance at Shen Yachu. She's swirling her wine glass, silently watching the two of us. Her gaze is piercing, almost like a look that could cut through someone. I don't respond to Shen Yachu, but she walks over and links her arm with mine. She invites me to go home together. Just as we're about to get in the car, Chenzi runs over. He takes the front passenger seat without hesitation, leaning lazily against the back of the seat. He looks as though he's drunk. Shen Yachu gives me a helpless glance. I chuckle softly. I raise my hand to stop a taxi to go home. From the rear window, I see Shen Yachu take the driver's seat. She starts the car and drives off. I receive a picture from Chen Zi. It's a messy scene, but enough to serve as evidence of an affair. I have to admit, Chen Zhao's physique is impressive. 8-pack ABS and a well-defined V-line. I envy him. But unfortunately, he's a love-struck fool. His mind is full of competition. I saved the photo. I appreciate that Chen Zi sent such thoughtful evidence. It means I no longer have to care about the ridiculous feelings with those laughable ties between us. It's just a pity that now isn't the right time to get a divorce. I'll wait until the stocks are issued. Once the company's value doubles, that'll be the time to bring up divorce. And I'll conveniently take Shen Yachu's shares as well. My net worth will skyrocket. By then, I'll no longer be bound by this marriage. I don't dwell on it too deeply. My focus quickly shifts back to the stock issuance. It's better to focus on business than women. My mom once acted on a love-struck mind. She stubbornly married my dad, who was broke and self-centered. They struggled for years to build something together. But then my dad cheated. He claimed that the other woman was his true love. He even transferred his hard-earned shares to her. But that so-called true love sold the shares and ran off with the money. They even took the house we were living in. Later, it was my grandfather who stepped in and bought most of the shares. He kept control of the company. And I lost the freedom to choose my own marriage. I was forced into a business marriage with Shen Yachu. I must always keep the initiative in my hands to prevent being easily kicked out in the future. I silently swore to myself, "Mr. Fu, your schedule is free this noon. Let's have a meal together." Because of the stock listing, I've been traveling on business for the past half-month. I just returned to the company today. Lin Chin came over. She had officially become my executive assistant. She arranges my schedule every day. She assists me in handling work. Half a month ago, Lin Chin had an argument with one of her subordinates. I happened to witness it. One of the employees, relying on his seniority, was dissatisfied with Lin Chin as the sales manager. And because she was a woman, Lin Chin was young and hot-blooded. She was so enraged that her face turned red and her neck bulged. I stepped forward and helped Lin Chin out of the situation. Lin Chin is reliable in her work. I even entrusted her with handling some confidential documents. This month, I've been busy with the stock issuance. She's been working non-stop with me. I should definitely treat her to a meal as a thank you. With that thought in mind, I smiled and
Let's
said, "Let's have lunch today, then." You choose the place. Looking at Lin Kin's youthful, confident appearance, I couldn't help but feel that being young is really great. In fact, I'm only 1 year older than Lin Chin, but I've been groomed as the family heir since I was young. My parents always taught me how to be a competent leader. I've never really considered the issue of age. I also enjoy my work. This month, I've been flying around so much, I haven't even returned home once. During that time, Shen Yachu did send me a WeChat message. But the meeting ran very late that day. I forgot to reply. At the dinner table, Lin Chin kept putting food on my plate. Eat more, boss. You've lost weight. Thanks. You eat too. Just as I was eating, Chenzi stormed over and splashed water in my face. Then he started cursing loudly. Scoundrel! Finally, I caught up with you. Where have you hidden Shen Yachu? Lin Chin stood up and blocked me. With a look of disgust,
Who do you think you are?
Chenzi pointed at Lin Kin's nose. Don't you have eyes? You don't even know who I am, Chenzi? I stepped forward and pulled Lin Chin away. I gave her a reassuring nod. Then I gathered strength in my palm. I slapped Chenzi hard across the face. Taking advantage of his stunned moment, I raised my hand and slapped the other side of his face. You! Chenzi covered his face, looking at me in disbelief. I shook my numb hand. That's the price for splashing water on me. Mr. Chen, isn't it a bit inappropriate to be asking around about someone else's wife? The people in the restaurant began to whisper after hearing my words. They pointed and murmured at Chen Zi. Stop wasting time. Where exactly is Shen Yachu? Chen Zi looked like he was going to pounce on me and tear me apart. Since the last time you slept with her, I haven't seen her again. I casually pulled out tissues to wipe my face. The crowd around us erupted in whispers. Various words like shameless filtered into our ears. Chen Zhao's face alternated between blue and red. He threw out one last remark. Mad dog, you'll regret this. And then he fled in disgrace. As soon as he left, I called the housekeeper. I learned that Shen Yachu hadn't been home for the entire month. I fell into deep thought. Where has Shen Yachu been for the past month? Boss, the meal? Lin Chin interrupted my thoughts. I'm not hungry anymore. I need to go back to the meeting. 2 hours later, Shen Yachu appeared in my office. I said coldly, "Welcome home, my dear wife." She extended her hands and walked toward me. I subtly moved away. Your lover came to find you and splashed water on my face. Are you jealous? Shen Yachu withdrew her hand and turned to look at me. I'm not jealous. Please, next time you want to find a man, don't drag me into it. Shen Yachu didn't directly respond. Instead, she leaned on my desk, resting her head on her hand and asked, After all these days, aren't you curious where I've been? I looked at her. Why would I be curious? It's just work. Why would I care? Her gaze dimmed for a moment, but then quickly returned to normal. Then tonight, let's have a gathering at home. Let's see, I said as I stopped paying attention to her. I opened the contract files and got to work. Shen Yachu, sensing the lack of interest, stood up to leave. Just as she was about to leave, Lin Chin entered the room. I wasn't sure if it was my imagination, but it seemed like the two of them exchanged a brief, subtle glance. Later that evening, I went home to grab some files. As soon as I entered the door, I saw a man's back. He was sitting on the sofa, his head lowered. Shen Yachu was sitting across from him, holding a glass of red wine. She heard the door open and turned toward me. The man turned around. It was Chen Zi again. His hair was messy. He looked haggard. He seemed a little disheveled. When he saw me enter, he stood up and said to me, "Fu Ming, would you divorce Shen Yuchu?" "I can't live without her." I raised an eyebrow. You help me and Shen Yuchu be together." I looked at Shen Yuchu. She sat calmly on the sofa, showing no intention of speaking. Whether it happens or not, it's up to Shen Yuchu. As long as she agrees, I'll sign immediately. However, you'll be leaving with nothing. She probably won't be willing to part with that, though. Shen Yuchu put down her wine glass. She stood up and looked at Chen Zi. "You've only slept with him once. I'll give you 5 million as compensation. Now leave." Chen Zhao's eyes widened as he stared at Shen Yuchu. He pointed at me in disbelief. "Are you going to give up the opportunity to acquire Lin Group for him? I've never heard of this before." "Shen Yuchu, when did you plan to acquire Lin Group?" I asked, confused. Chen Zi, furious, continued, "Shen Yuchu, he doesn't even know about the acquisition plan, but I can help you seize this opportunity. Are you sure you only want him?" "Shen Yuchu, please answer my question, as this involves the company." My tone grew increasingly firm. Shen Yuchu took a step forward, trying to grab my hand. "Fu Ming, I've already drafted the plan and implementation strategy. Don't worry about it." I took a step back. "Is the company only yours? What do you want to do?" It seems Shen Yuchu's ambitions are growing stronger. She even wants to undermine my authority. Chen Zi didn't care about any of that. He started shouting hysterically as if he had lost his mind. "I know everything about Lin Group. Only I can help you." Chen Zi extended a finger. He pointed it at my face. "And he has questionable relationships with the company's subordinates. He doesn't deserve to be your husband." Shut up. Anyone who heard such slander wouldn't be able to hold back their anger. "Mr. Chen, please mind your words. Now, please leave. Otherwise, I'll call security." Seeing Chen Zhao's frantic and wild demeanor, Shen Yuchu decisively grabbed her phone and called security. I poured myself a glass of water and asked Shen Yuchu, "Mr. Shen, do you have anything you want to say to me?" Shen Yuchu took another sip of her wine. "Fu Ming, I know I didn't inform you about this matter in advance, but if we acquire Lin Group, then we will be the largest conglomerate in the province." I couldn't help but interrupt her. "Shen Yuchu, did you spend this past month doing all of this? Do you know we're currently facing the project of listing our stocks abroad? This is exactly the time when we need a lot of funding. Why are you trying to acquire Lin Group right now? Is it to increase the loss of funds?" "Fu Ming, you don't need to worry too much about the company's matters. You just need to do your job as my husband, Shen Yuchu. You don't have to worry about Chen Zi. I'm just using his information to profit the company. In the end, the one standing at the top will be you and me. Only the two of us are meant to be together. I can't help but feel disdain. To profit using such despicable means. Does she think I'll feel honored?" I snorted coldly. "We're both shareholders of the company." "I don't agree." "You won't be able to do it. Then let the board of directors decide. Let's have a meeting at 8 a.m. tomorrow." Shen Yuchu left the room with her bag. I watched her silhouette as she walked away. I felt that Chen Zhao's evaluation of her was quite accurate. Selfish, greedy for profit. People like her don't deserve to be my wife. The next day at the board meeting, Shen Yuchu won by a 1-vote margin and successfully passed the plan to acquire Lin Group. I sat in my seat with a dark expression. That crucial vote had come from Lin Chin. Moreover, The plan Shen Yechu presented this morning had the company's official seal on it. The official seal had always been in my possession. Since Lin Qin arrived, she was responsible for handling it. I had worried that Shen Yechu might try something underhanded. So the first set a rule for Lin Qin when she joined. Any use of the seal must be approved by me, especially if it involves Shen Yechu. After the meeting ended, Lin Qin came to my office with an apologetic expression. I'm sorry, Mr. Fu. I didn't keep an eye on the company seal properly. That allowed Miss Shen to take advantage. You mean Shen Yechu stole the company seal? Lin Qin nodded. I was so angry I almost laughed. I pushed the computer toward her. The surveillance footage shows Lin Qin handing the company seal to Shen Yechu. The two of them even patted each other on the shoulder. You've been monitoring me? Lin Qin stared at me in disbelief. With the position of executive assistant, it's natural to monitor everything in real time. I've been so busy lately. I didn't realize you took advantage of it. I turned the computer toward me. Your employment contract clearly states that giving the company seal to anyone other than Fuming, according to company regulation, is classified as stealing commercial secrets. You can expect to go to prison. Lin Qin was panicked. Mr. Fu, I was momentarily out of my mind. Please, considering all the work I've done these past months, have mercy and let me go. I lifted my eyes slightly. Why should I let you go? What did Shen Yechu offer you? Lin Qin quickly responded. Ms. Shen trusts me a lot. I can help you with anything, as long as you don't call the police. I looked at Lin Qin, who was groveling before me. All right. Then I want Shen Yechu to leave with nothing. With the support of the board members, the acquisition of Lin Group proceeded smoothly. But Shen Yechu and I also signed an agreement. If the foreign stock listing fails, Shen Yechu will give up all her shares to win my trust. She even signed this unfair contract. Shen Yechu signed this unequal agreement. And now the real drama begins. In order to complete the stock listing quickly, Shen Yechu urgently needed a large sum of money. Even after using all borrowing methods, she was still short by 10 million. At my suggestion, Lin Qin recommended a highly profitable investment product to her. Initially, it did yield returns. But as Shen Yechu increased her investment, she lost everything. Shen Yechu had no choice but to admit defeat. Fuming ... Our years together as husband and wife, are they worth nothing compared to this trivial stock issue? Shen Yechu was still desperately clinging to hope, and Chen Zi said that after acquiring Lin Group, we have a large number of orders originally belonging to Lin Group. Why is it that there isn't a single order? He couldn't have made a mistake in his judgment. I smiled slightly. Of course, there are no orders, because all of Lin Group's orders were intercepted by my private subsidiary. And this company has nothing to do with Shen Yechu. It's part of the Fu family's assets. I said to Shen Yechu, it's your fault. You trusted Chen Zi too much. It's impossible. I have complete knowledge of Lin Group's internal data. How could I lose money? Chen Zi loves me so much. He would never lie to me. I sneered. Maybe he won't lie to you. But how could you? Shen Yechu, who is so careful with every step, place your trust in an outsider? Isn't that laughable? Tomorrow is the day when Shen Yechu's shares will be transferred to my account. Once I acquire her 20% of the shares, along with my original 20%, I will become the largest shareholder of the company. Thinking of this, I feel a surge of excitement inside. But then I suddenly remember I left my share transfer document in the office. I decide to drive back to get it. I had just driven to the intersection when a large Range Rover came speeding toward me. I swerved the steering wheel urgently, but still couldn't avoid the collision. The car slammed into the nearby guardrail. I was left bloodied and bruised. As my consciousness began to fade, I vaguely saw someone get out of the car on the opposite side. The streetlight reflected off the sharp knife in his hand, the reflection catching in my pupils. I can't die. That was the only thought in my mind. I slapped myself hard a few times to stay awake. Dragging my injured leg, I staggered out of the car. I ran toward the nearby supermarket. There were a lot of people there. The man was hot on my heels. I was injured again. Soon, he lunged at me and knocked me to the ground. The sharp knife was right above my brow. I desperately tried to hold down his hand, but I had no strength, weakened by the injuries. Just when I thought I was going to die there, a patrol car spotted the commotion and rushed over. Seeing that the situation was turning against him, the man dropped me and fled. I was taken to the hospital. Luckily, I didn't have any fractures, but my head had a nasty gash, and my foot was swollen. Who wanted to kill me? Shen Yachu? Lin Chin? Or Chen Zi? After being discharged, I went to Chen Zhao's place. His first words were, "You're fine." Realizing he had slipped up, Chen Zi quickly changed his tone. "What are you doing here?" He glared at me and prepared to shut the door. I shook the fruit basket I was holding. "I'm here on behalf of my wife to visit her good lover. And I didn't die. Are you disappointed?" "I don't know what you're talking about." Chen Zi avoided my gaze, looking uneasy. It seems my suspicions were right. The person who wanted me dead, he's one of them. But I still don't know if there are any accomplices. Seeing Chen Zhao's weak position, I seized the opportunity. "It's just a divorce, right?" "That's easy. Shen Yachu has already been removed from the board. But her family's influence is still there. If you help the Shen family now, they will naturally welcome you." Chen Zhao's eyes widened as he stared at me. "Is what you're saying true?" "Of course. But you have to tell me. Who tried to murder me a few days ago? Was it you, or who were you working with?" I don't understand what you're talking about." "You do." I smiled at him with a confident tone. As expected, Chen Zi seemed a bit panicked. "I just wanted to teach you a lesson. Shen Yachu bribed the driver to kill you. I only found out about it later." I narrowed my eyes. "Is that true?" "It's true. I have no reason to want you dead. Shen Yachu came to me. She said she was willing to marry me." "All right. Just as I thought." "Shen Yachu is desperate and wants me dead. We're not divorced yet. As my wife, she would naturally get all my shares." Typical Shen Yachu, always thinking of ways to get what she wants. And fortunately, since I didn't die, she can go to hell. "You'll get the woman you desire, but you'll need to do something." Chen Zi eagerly asked, "What do you need me to do?" "Really on the right track. Go find a reporter. Tell them everything about you and Shen Yachu. Every single detail. Once your story is on the front page, Shen Yachu won't be able to deny it. Then I'll divorce her. You'll get the woman in your arms." "How about that?" Chen Zi looked at me suspiciously. "But doesn't that expose everything about us? Everyone will know I'm the other man." I raised an eyebrow. "Not bad. Mr. Chen knows he's the other man." Seeing Chen Zhao's face turn from blue to white, I continued, "I'm asking you to step in because it will speed up the divorce process. It won't be drawn out. Otherwise, with just the photos you sent me, I can still get the divorce, but I can't guarantee she won't abandon you. To come to me and show her resolve, Chenzi clenched his fists. Okay, I'll do it. But can I really have her? That depends on your abilities. Anyway, I will definitely divorce Shen Yachu. Chenzi tightened his fists. All right. I don't care who becomes my wife. I won't hesitate to cut ties. But if she can't work with me to achieve something powerful. That night, I indeed saw Chenzi on TV. His eyes full of tears as he accused Shen Yachu, along with the footage. There were photos of him and Shen Yachu together. I laughed, and a recording of Shen Yachu admitting she wanted to marry him. Just as I expected. Men with love-struck minds are both dangerous. He didn't stop to think. If Shen Yachu found out he exposed their private matters to the media, she'd probably have murderous thoughts about him. How could she ever marry him then? After Shen Yachu saw the news, she went wild and started calling me non-stop. She called over 80 times in one night. I quietly watched the phone screen light up and fade out again. In the end, I blocked her. The next day, Shen Yachu and her grandfather came to my office to find me. Although her grandfather was over 70, he was still sharp mentally and quick on his feet. To be honest, I really admired my grandfather. He started from nothing, selling wontons on the street, and built Shen Group from the ground up, supporting the entire family. When Grandpa saw me, his face showed signs of guilt. Ziming, did you see the news? I nodded. Grandpa continued. Sigh. Shen Yachu is spoiled from a young age. I never thought she would do something so disgraceful. Ziming, don't be upset. We'll give you an explanation. After all, Shen Yachu is so outstanding. It's normal for men to be attracted to her. As long as she still has you in her heart, that's what matters. Grandpa, I'm planning to divorce Shen Yachu. I said it calmly as if discussing something that had nothing to do with me. Grandpa replied, men should be magnanimous. Divorce is never a good choice. Will your grandfather even agree? I've already spoken with Grandpa, and I'm worried that if I don't divorce now, my life might not be guaranteed. Ziming, what do you mean by that? At Grandpa's confused inquiry, I took out the recorder. The driver from that day has already been caught. Before being taken to the police station, he confessed. He said Shen Yachu instructed him to kill me. He even said she would give him $1 million after the job was done. To cover his tracks, he kept a chat log with Shen Yachu. Here's the evidence. Grandpa heavily struck the ground with his cane. Angrily, he turned and looked at Shen Yachu. I thought you were just spoiled. But I didn't realize at such a young age your thoughts were so malicious. You even tried to have your own husband killed. Shen Group doesn't need someone like you. My successor should not be you. Shen Yachu panicked. Grandpa, please listen to my explanation. I said to Shen Yachu, Mr. Shen, get ready to go to prison. Grandpa sighed and turned to leave. Shen Yachu chased after me, trying to explain. It seems the successor of Shen Group might need to be reconsidered. The evidence was soon submitted to the court. No matter how much Shen Yachu tried to threaten or bribe, I remained resolute in getting the divorce. After the verdict came down, all of Shen Yachu's properties and vehicles were awarded to me. And once I took Shen Yachu's shares and cleared out the assets she had tied up with Lin Chin, the company's stocks were successfully listed abroad. My net worth instantly tripled. As for Lin Chin, considering she had helped a bit, I decided to let her off. I just had her removed from the group. Her ambition got the best of her. She ended up being fired. It must have been a huge blow to her. Finally, I could relax and take a vacation. I had been so busy lately, mentally and physically exhausted. Since today seemed quiet, I decided to go out for some shopping to pick up a few things. As soon as I entered the mall, I saw a woman on top of a man, slapping his face. The crowd around them grew, but no one dared to intervene. I focused and realized the woman was Shen Yachu. The man lying on the ground was Chen Zi. Stop! I ran over and helped Chen Zi up. After all, I was grateful to him for giving me the freedom to divorce. He raised his hand to shield his face, not daring to meet my gaze. A bystander shouted, 110 and 120 are on their way. I looked up at Shen Yachu. At that moment, there was nothing noble or elegant about her. Her hair was a mess. She wasn't wearing any makeup. Her clothes were wrinkled. She looked completely defeated. It seemed she was seeing red from rage. She stepped forward and kicked Chen Zi a few times. It's your fault. Because of you, I can no longer control Shen Group. You still don't care, do you? It's all because of you. She was about to use her high heels to stomp on Chen Zhao's face. It seemed like someone might die. The crowd surged forward and restrained Shen Yachu. Chen Zi was urgently rushed to the hospital. With blood all over him, he was pushed into the emergency room. He never dared to look at me, but I heard him mutter softly, "Thank you." The next day, I went to visit him. He was sitting on the hospital bed, turning his head to look out the window. He seemed numb, detached. I put down the fruit I was holding and gently walked over. "How are you?" Chen Zi withdrew his gaze and looked at me. "I'm planning to go back to the US. You don't want to marry Shen Yachu anymore?" Chen Zi lowered his head and gave a soft laugh. He glanced at the scars on his body. But I realized that Shen Yachu doesn't love me, even when I touched her interests. She didn't hesitate to abandon me. She's always loved only herself. So why should I continue to humiliate myself? It was just the hottest love in the memories of my youth. But as time passed, even love faded. At this moment, he finally woke up. I gently patted his shoulder. "If you ever need help, just let me know." "Okay, thank you." Shen Yachu was imprisoned for intentional injury. What awaited her was severe punishment. I took my mom on a trip to Sanya to relax. We walked on the warm, soft beach, looking at the picturesque scenery in the distance. This feeling. Men and women in the distance were dressed lightly. I sipped from a coconut reclining in a lounge chair, soaking up the sunlight. A long, slender, and fair hand reached out. It was holding my hat. "Handsome, is this yours?" The voice was sweet and melodious. I followed the beautiful hand and looked up. The woman, wearing sunglasses, flashed her sparkling teeth and smiled at me. Her clear eyes seemed even more captivating under the sunlight. In her hand was the hat I had lost while strolling along the beach earlier. I stood up to take the hat, smiling faintly at her. "Yes, it's mine." "Thank you." "You're welcome." "Handsome, can I add you on WeChat?" The woman blinked playfully. She was quite cheeky. Sure. Facing the playful woman's approach, I had no reason to refuse anymore. We both took out our phones and scanned each other's QR codes. I smiled and asked her, "May I ask your last name?" The woman's smile was radiant and bright. "My last name is Shen. My name is Shen Nyan." Shen, seeing my confused expression, she graciously extended her hand. "Shen Yachu is my sister." I remembered. When I married Shen Yachu, her sister was studying in the UK, so she couldn't attend the wedding. I didn't have much impression of her. But now, what was her purpose for approaching me? Was it to reclaim Shen Group's shares? Or to continue the family alliance? I extended my hand meaningfully. "It's a pleasure to meet you, Shen Nyan." No matter what her purpose was. As long as I Ray Mei, the hunter. That's enough.